What's going on, friendos? Captain Alex here, and you're watching a brand new episode of NintenDIY, the show in which I teach you how to make your very own super cool Nintendo-themed projects right at home. Now, Paper Mario and the Origami King was just announced, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make your own Origami Papercraft Princess Peach figure. Let's get into it.
Let's go!
Okay, now before we get into the actual tutorial, let's go over some stuff that you're going to need for this project. It's going to be pretty simple, so most of these things you'll be able to find around your house. First things first, we're going to need a reference image. This is one of the most important things in any tutorial is you want to know what you're making. Just like when you make a puzzle, you want to know what the final image is going to look like. This is going to be great for this papercraft tutorial. This is what we're trying to make. Next, you're going to need an ordinary glue stick. This one's from Target. Target brand works perfectly fine. You're going to need some Scotch tape, some kind of craft knife. This is an X-Acto knife. You're going to need some kind of straight edge. You could use an old credit card, an old gift card, even a hard edge of a box or a table if that's all you've got laying around. I'm going to be using this plastic scraper tool. You'll need a pair of scissors. You're going to need the pattern for all the pieces that you're going to be using. This pattern is going to be available on my website. Visit CaptainAlex.com, head over to the tutorial section, and you'll go ahead and be able to print this out. It is already 8.5 by 11 size, so ordinary printer paper will work just fine. And then, of course, you're going to need all the cardstock that you're going to be using to make your origami figure. Once you've got all that, what we're going to do is we're going to cut out all of our patterns with our scissors. I'm not going to go through that. It's pretty simple. Cut out around all the shapes of the patterns, and then you're going to take your pattern and you're going to line it up on the colors that they are. And then you're just going to go ahead and cut out your cardstock along that pattern to get you the shapes that you need. So we'll go ahead and do that right now, and we'll be back to assemble everything together. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to make the dress. So what we want to do is we want to take the thin part of our dress that we cut out. This is the dark pink part, and we're just going to add some glue to the back of that and glue it to our dress. So just a nice layer of glue on the back there, and then we want to put it on the very bottom edge of our figure, and make sure you leave about 1/2 inch on each side so that you can actually wrap it around. So we'll stick that down, line it up at the bottoms, and then just fold the edges over into the back. And if you need some more glue, that's perfectly fine as well. You could add a little bit more glue to get it to stick, which I do, so we'll put some glue back here to get this to stick on here. And then we'll add some more glue on this side as well to get these pieces nice and stuck on there. All right, so that is going to be the bottom of our dress. And then, of course, we'll get to folding it a little later on. Now, the next thing we can do is start folding some of our other shapes. So one thing we're going to want to do is this is going to be our dress, but it's a little bit too wide for our dress. So we'll want to fold that. But the first thing we're going to want to do is fold our face. So you can fold either side. So what we're going to do is just take our, let's move some pieces to the side here. We're going to take our hard edge and line it up with the divot down there. And we're just going to take this edge and fold it up. Just like that, so we get a nice folded edge on that side. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Take this edge and fold it up against our hard edge so that we have a nice folded edge on both sides. And that will give our face that kind of shape that we want it to be. So if we look at our character comparison, you can see that the shape of the face is a little bit more hexagonal. I don't know, that might not be the right word, but it's a little bit more shaped than just a square. It's not just a square, it has some slanted edges on both sides. The face is a little bit uneven, so I'm going to go ahead and just fold it a little bit better. Fold this side in a little bit more to make those edges a little bit more even. All right, a little bit more like that, that should be better. And the reason we left a little gap down here is because, one, it made it a little bit easier for us to fold, and it's also going to be a way for us to tape it onto the dress when we get to that part of the tutorial. So now that the glue on the bottom of our dress should be mostly dry, what we're gonna do is we're just going to take our dress and we're going to fold it in about 1/2 inch. So again, we could take our straight edge here, or we can just fold it by hand, and we're just gonna fold it in about 1/2 inch like this on both sides. Try to make it as even as you can. You can use a ruler if you'd like. At the end of the day, it's papercraft, so I'm not gonna go for perfect precision. Okay, so that will give us the nice middle part of the dress, but then we need it to flare out just a little bit. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take this part of the dress and we're just gonna fold it out, so that when you look at it from the front, it has some nice dress flare coming out the sides like that. And you can play around with the crease, make it as big or as small as you want so that it is to your liking. It doesn't have to be perfectly screen accurate if you don't want it to be. This is your paper craft, so do with it as you feel fit. So there we go. We've got our dress flare on one side, and we'll fold the other side about the same and get the dress flare on the other side as well. Just like that. All right, there we go. And then when we look at it from the front, we have a nice folded dress pattern like that. Now the next thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and take a piece of tape and tape the head of our character onto the pink upper body of the dress. So we're just going to take a small piece of tape here. Make sure you put the beige piece on top of the pink piece. Line up those edges the best way that you can. And then just place a piece of tape to hold it in place there. Now once those pieces are taped together, you've now got your head and the top of your dress stuck together like that. Okay, so with your bottom taped to the top face, all you want to do is tape back these flaps as well. And then we can take our straight edge and just line it up with the edge of the brown and then lift the pink and fold that in as well to give that a nice straight edge on that side. And then turn it around and do the same on the other side. Line your straight edge up with the edge of the pink and just fold that in as well. That will give us a nice creased edge on the front. And again, we'll just take a piece of tape on both sides and make sure we keep these flapped edges down. And that will give the character a little bit of dimension and make it a little bit more 3D. So there we go. When we look at it from the front, there we have Peach's head and her upper torso. Now, what we want to do is we can next take this and attach it to our dress so that it will look like this when it's complete. Now that's a little bit large, so I'm actually going to go ahead and fold my dress flaps in just a little bit further so that they can be a little bit smaller of a lower torso. That's the good thing about paper, is that you can fold it as many times as you need to get it to the proportions that you want. And then again, we'll just take our dress and flare it out this way, like that, and like this. All right, so there we have our dress. It's a little bit smaller now, just like that. And that is basically going to be the main body of Peach. So what we want to do is we want to flip her over. We want to go ahead and add her torso now into her dress. We can unfold this while we tape her in there. Now you can use glue here, or you can use tape for the sake of time. I'm just going to go ahead and tape her in there. Plus, if you tape her in, she's a little bit more readjustable if you want to change out the tape later. All right, so once the torso is taped down, go ahead and fold your sides in again and just take some more tape and tape that dress right into place. Now the good thing about this is you're using a lot of tape on the back, but the hair is actually going to go down the back of the character, which is going to cover up most of this tape. So just like that, when we flip it over, there is our origami dress. Pretty much almost complete at this point. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and we can add our arms to the character. So we'll go ahead and take our white pieces of paper now, and again, it's kind of squared off, so what you want to do is just cut off the arm part, make a straight edge along that rectangular edge so that when we line it up here, the arms will be just like that. So we'll do the same thing on the other side now. Just like that. Now her arms, they're a little bit longer than the actual character from the game, but again, if you want to cut them a little bit smaller, you can do that as well. So we'll just tape them in place just like that. And that's pretty accurate to the character. So before we do that, we're going to go ahead and add our dress embellishments so that her arms will flap over the dress embellishments. So we could just add this here with some glue, and we'll add another one on this side over here, and that will give us her dress. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip our character over, and we're going to put her arms taped to the back of her. So again, just line up the arms where you want them on the back. Take some tape and tape the arm down. Same thing on the other side. Line up the arms exactly where you want them. Take some tape and tape them down. So that when we flip her over. All right, now the next thing we're gonna do is we'll go ahead and add the earring embellishments and the middle gem as well. So for these, what we want to do is we want them to have some dimension. So what we're going to do is we're just going to fold them in half, and then we'll fold them in half again. So unfold it, fold it in half in the other direction, and now that they have that nice crease line that our example image has, you can see on here there's crease lines on the center and on the earrings. So then all we got to do is just go ahead and glue this in place like this. And that will be her middle medallion. All right, now the next thing we want to do is we'll add the pieces of her hair to the character. So same deal here, they have a little bit of dimension on them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold these in half and then in half the other way again, just like with the earrings and the pendant. So in half, hamburger style, and then in half again, hot dog style, making a nice crease down the middle. Perfect. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to glue them in place in the center of the character like that. Well, a little bit more to the side because you want a little bit of the hair to be coming off. If we look at our reference image, you want these points to be a little bit coming off the sides. Just like that. And then our hair, when it comes down the middle, will be like this. So we'll put our hair somewhere like this. This hair will come in like this. And that will be pretty much our character. Just like that. So let's move that to the side. Go ahead and put some glue on the back of these now. Oops, a little bit too much glue. It's very hard to do when you've got a camera set up looming over you. So we'll do it like that, towards the middle. And again, this one towards the middle as well. Have them meet in the middle, just like that. So now you've got those dimensional pieces of hair coming down the middle of the character there. Now the last thing that we're gonna do, well, not the last thing, but one of the last things we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap the hair around the top. So we're gonna go like this, find out where we want our hair to be positioned. So it's gonna be somewhere right around here, and then we'll wrap it like this. So just like that, we'll go ahead and take our paper, make our crease, and just like that, we'll have the hair for Princess Peach. So we can glue it in place like this. That will cover up most of the tape on the back of our character. So we're gonna lift this flap here. We're gonna put some glue on the actual flap. Then we will flap it down into place like this. And then we can lift her up like that and put some glue onto the actual hair piece now, the rest of the hair. Whoops, the glue actually came off of here. So we'll do this, position our hair again, glue that, place it all down. The glue will dry clear, so even if you get some glue outside in the other areas, it's going to be okay because it will dry clear. So once that is all done there, that is our princess. Now all she needs is her eyes and her crown. So in order to make the crown, we have our square piece and we have these two middle pieces. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna fold our square piece in half to make the center part of our crown. Try to line up the edges as best we can, like that. And then make sure we have a nice crease on the bottom. We will take the middle of our crown, which is this piece right here, and we'll insert it, and there we go. That will be our crown. Just like that. So we're gonna go ahead and take this, open it up, put some glue on both sides of our square piece, insert our other piece into the middle here, line it up where we want it, and then just close it in like that. And we'll wait for the glue to dry. So that will be our crown. Just like that. Now, finally, before we glue the crown on, we're just gonna go ahead and glue our eyes on, which is a pretty simple step. As you can imagine, we're just gonna take our black dots and glue them onto her face, just kind of in line with the corner up here of the hair. So you see this triangular corner up here, so kind of in the middle of that, and then halfway down the center of the eye is where I'm gonna do mine. Same thing with the other side. Line it up on that center crease, line it up with the other one, and kind of halfway down the center of the hair, just like that. Now, last but not least, what we're gonna do is we're gonna obviously glue the crown on the top. So we'll just flip Peach over. We're just gonna put a tiny bit of glue on top here. And we are gonna glue just the very edge of the crown to her head. So just like that, we're gonna glue that in place, and that will give us our Princess Peach. Now, a final step that's totally optional. If you've got leftover paper that you wanna use, you can go ahead and put some pink, glue some pink underneath her hair but above the rest of the tape to give her a back of a dress and cover up the rest of that tape. That's totally optional. You can make her hair longer if you wanted to, just to really get rid of those pink tape lines back there. But otherwise, that is Princess Peach. If you wanted to as well, if you're looking at the actual character diagram, what you could do is you could, before you put the crown on, you can go ahead and just fold right down the middle, fold the entire character in half down the middle. That will give it a little bit more dimension. That's something that the actual character from the game has that crease down the middle like an origami character. So if we wanted to do that, we could just go ahead and take our crown off real quick and just glue it back on after. And so what we would do is we would just want to fold the entire character in half. Now this is risky, but just go ahead and fold it just like that. This will give us that crease down the middle like that, and that will give us that 3D dimension that the character really kind of has in the actual game. And again, we'll just go ahead and flip her back over, put some glue up here for the crown, and then glue the crown back on the top of her head. And there we go. There is our fully creased origami Princess Peach. It's a full tutorial. Be careful when you got gluey fingers. I got a little bit of glue on her arm, so we'll have to go back and fix that. But otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward, pretty simple tutorial to make your own Origami Princess Peach from Paper Mario and the Origami King, coming out in July. All right, there you have it. There is our Origami Papercraft Princess Peach from the brand new Paper Mario and the Origami King. Head over to Instagram and Twitter, hit me up, show me your creations if you took on this tutorial. Let me know, I'd love to see them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Captain Alex, signing off.